from the New York Sun. Google searches for criminal defense lawyers surge. I like how they put at Washington, D.C. That seems a strange way to write the words. With Trump in the White House, search results for defense attorneys are roughly 5 times higher. I thought it was 3. 5 times higher in America's capital than anywhere else in the country. So the story, okay, well, we don't have it pulled up, but they basically reference this dude, Mark from Rasmussen, who checked the search and found that Washington, D.C., as of this past month, has spiked to the highest in the nation in terms of search for criminal defense attorneys, and that it's the next highest is Utah for whatever reason, but it's between 3 to 5 times higher in D.C. I'm going to go ahead and make a guess that this may have to do with people filing fraudulent invoices to USAID in the Treasury Department, knowing it was going to get cashed out, and them thinking no one was ever going to look or notice. And now the reason they're searching, this is all, I'm just speculating, the reason why they're searching for attorneys is because they're calling them on the phone and saying, I've been invoicing the government for a year, and I haven't been doing anything. What's my criminal exposure here? The reason why I think this is largely people calling to ask whether or not they may have broken the law is that they've not filed charges against anybody over this stuff. But Trump has come out saying we have found fraud, and a lot of it. So I can only imagine that these people who are in Loudoun County, for instance, who have been invoicing the federal government for who knows what, because we've seen some of the stuff that's come out, they must be sweating bullets right now, concerned that Trump's not going to tolerate what they've been doing.
It's a very compassionate take on it. Honestly, I was thinking that these people are so narcissistic. They think the world's about them. The world's out to get them. They think Donald Trump gets into office day one, spends all day long looking up, who am I going to attack? Who am I going to charge? Who am I going to go after? When really, he's saving the world. He's saving the country. He's the most aggressive in the best way possible, like the most proactive president that we have ever had. We always say like the first 100 days of a presidency. I think Trump has dropped that down now to the first 30 days of a presidency to compare how much a president has done. And I think these people are just so paranoid. They think the world revolves around them. They're going to come after me. Nobody cares about you that much. We have found fraud. I think that is a very compassionate idea that they're trying to figure it out. But I really think that these people are just lawyering up because they think they're that important that Trump is going to take the time to individually go after them. Nobody cares about you that much.
But they might go after him.
I think he has bigger things. I think there was an interview. I don't want to like incorrectly quote Trump, but they asked him like, "Are you going to go after your opponents?" He's like,
"These are not opponents, though.
Yeah,
these are NGOs.
I guess people.
This is going to be like a 47-year-old guy who's got a mansion in McLean, and he's been invoicing the government for $10 million a year off his fake nonprofit." And he's like, I can't justify these expenses. What do I do? No one's supposed to be looking into it. They've just been paying me. I guarantee you there's a bunch of people who've been getting paid by the government who are like, I don't know, they just kept paying me.
I mean, all the buildings are empty, but I think just on the laundry list of people that are important, we have gang members in this country that have come in over the last few years with illegal immigration. We have a lot of criminals in New York specifically who haven't been arrested. I think that just on like the laundry list of who to go after, they're a bit lower.
Totally disagree.
Not in my view of what they should be, just in like what our government's going to go after. If we could go after all at once, I'd love that. But
it's the most the biggest threat to this country right now are the bureaucratic, deep state, NGO Democrat operatives who live in and around Washington, D.C., who stand to lose hundreds of millions or billions of dollars from what Trump is doing. The gang members hurt and kill people, and it's bad. We got to stop them. But the people in and around D.C. want those people to stay there and have the means and the resources to wage legal lawfare against Donald Trump and stop him from being able to do these things. So I think the reason they're Google searching this stuff is that Trump and the DOJ have to go after the most powerful administrative element. Trump wants to fire everybody. What happens? The Democrats file lawsuits, and then these activist judges block him. That's why they're going after USAID right now. Trump's biggest priority actually doesn't appear to be immigration. Certainly, it's a large priority. Certainly, he said he wants the number to go up. But he just pulled out the big guns on DOGE and sent them into Department of Education and to USAID, and they gutted USAID almost first thing. Immigration numbers, deportation numbers are currently low relative, and this is what Trump's saying, yet we've shut down entire departments. Trump knows the deep state bureaucrats will stop him if he doesn't stop them first.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that the administration should do what it can do to get, to go after people that have violated the law. I don't think that this shouldn't be something that's like, it shouldn't be controversial. If someone's broken the law or someone's, if they're abusing the system, There's no reason why the DOJ shouldn't go after.
There's I quote Mike Benz a lot because he's so prolific on this whole USAID, deep state, international corruptive internet censorship. Is like, why are we being censored? And let him through this maze. And he's like, what we're doing right now is we are performing open heart surgery on the American empire. And I don't want, it's very possible that the patient will die on the table, and we don't want that because Empire has enabled us to have cheap gas, affordable housing, but it's really about creating transparency and doing it right in a lot of ways, doing the dirty work right. And that's, I think, so indiscriminately targeting and arresting everyone that's ever done any corruption might not be the best thing for the health of the country.
Why?
If you don't understand the organism that you're working on and you take it all away right away, it might kill something. You got to be careful with.
I mean, that's not really an answer, though.
The reconstruction of it.
But that's not really an answer. Why do you think that it's a bad idea to go after people that have violated the law?
Indiscriminately?
Well, I mean,
What does that mean?
The fact that you're
because I don't think that the law is always the best guide of morality in life. Sometimes things are made illegal when they're right.
Hold on. You're saying that the administrative state that has been, I don't know, wrongly imprisoning people, torturing them, propping up criminals, maintaining a multi-generational fake puppet government, we should just ignore that.
No, a huge problem. But like Deborah mentioned, too,
so
we don't have infinite resources, and we do need to be discriminate about how we approach. But I think you're right. If we don't, but if it's not like what JFK didn't subvert the opponent, and the opponent had him off, as far as we can tell. You know, Ron Paul said the CIA killed Kennedy. I tend to believe him. I think Anna Paulina Luna just mentioned there were 2 shooters.
I think Ian works for the CIA.
My whole life, dude.
Because whenever there's an issue of it's like, hey, we've just uncovered gross malfeasance, Ian goes, well, we should let him go. And we're like, what?
Well,
we should pardon Hillary Clinton.
One is
like,
I play subversion.
You did say pardon Hillary.
Of course.
You think we should pardon Hillary?
Blanket pardons, dude.
he does kind of look like Chelsea, doesn't he?
Yeah, let them all let's just move forward as a union, man. Someone's got to say it out loud.
I got my eye on you, Ian.
You know, it's a long game, but I do think that moving quickly is important. You just, I don't know. You know, I don't even hardly know what we're even talking about right now. Like, who are we talking about? What are we talking about? The Brookings Institute, Mel K.
We're talking about fake nonprofits, think tanks, and individuals who have been invoicing the federal government falsely, knowing they're not actually doing any work, and they're buying mansions from it. And now the presumption is they're panicking and calling up lawyers being like, am I going to go to prison for this? And Donald Trump has gutted USAID, and he said we're looking for fraud. Fraud is a felony. And what happens when they uncover large amounts of people who have been sending in invoices to the federal government despite not doing any work?
And sometimes
Elon Musk pointed out real quick that the Treasury Department was instructed to pay out all invoices without just do it. Just don't even bother questioning it. And the argument given that, or I should say the reason given was the government didn't want to create complaints. It's better to just pay it out because our resources are infinite, because we'll just raise the debt ceiling and keep cranking up debt. There's the United States government gets their money by either printing it or pointing guns at people. So for the administrator in an office who gets an invoice, they go, look, I do not want to deal with an angry email, my boss yelling at me, and no one's going to complain if I just pay it out. So that's what they were doing, rubber stamping this stuff. There was one story apparently where a single piece of paper requested $1 billion for no reason. And then someone at the Treasury Department was like, I'm not going to do this one. That's weird. But there were people who were apparently invoicing or charging and requesting and getting grants for tens of millions of dollars, despite doing literally nothing. In fact, Seamus has this really great cartoon, shout out to Freedom Tunes, where Elon is uncovering, in one instance, he's like, 1,000 crates of Smarties for Iraqi slumber parties? What is going on with this? You got to watch this cartoon.
The rhyme was the best.
The rhyming was the best. The point was, when we look at how the money was being spent, the truth is when they say $47,000 for a gender puppet play in Peru or whatever it was, that's not really where the money was going. It's going to be some NGO in the DC area where a guy says, we liaise with people in Peru to do gender puppet shows. Send me 50 grand. So now that Trump is looking for the fraud, they're going to start bringing a microscope to these people, and they're going to say, yeah, you invoiced us for consulting. You haven't shown up to the office in a year. And they're going to go, oh, well, no one said I shouldn't. And they're going to be like, fraud doesn't work that way.
I'm curious what you guys think. I think it's very interesting with Trump being Trump. and second term now, that he's prioritizing this because out of all the things that he could do, like going after crime first, or I guess with the economy, this might have a long-term effect on the economy, cutting down fraudulent waste and spending. It might have a delayed boom. But I'm very interested what you guys think, why he's starting with this, because I feel like out of all the things, this is extremely important to get rid of fraudulent and people who are abusing the federal government, especially when we're giving like $600 to Maui victims and North Carolina victims. But it's not going to have a direct return to actual Americans. Like, that's great. We cut 20 million, but how am I going to feel that as a regular citizen?
Where does that 20 million go? It goes into
the federal budget.
No, it goes when $20 million goes to the Loudoun County NGOs, lobbyists, think tanks. That goes in the pockets of Democrats and neocons who are going to try to stop Donald Trump. It goes into the campaign coffers of politicians who are going to try to unseat Republicans who will defend Trump. It's going to go directly into the midterms where they prop up squishy Republicans who say, I guess we have to impeach Trump this time.
Yeah.
If Trump does not take action and cut the resources off to the administrative state, he will be impeached in 2 years.
This is a great point, but and further, like I would take it further. It's like not only is all the stuff that Tim was saying exactly true, but also like these are things that the American people hate.
Yeah.
It's easy, low-hanging fruit. So it actually does two things. It makes the American people feel good about DOGE and what they're doing. And the things that Donald Trump is doing, because Donald Trump promised to do this stuff. So he's fulfilling campaign promises. He's protecting himself and other Republicans when it comes to the midterms. And he's getting rid of waste, fraud, and abuse that almost every normal American agrees, yes, these are bad things. So you're right. It's not something, and I talk about this a lot, because it's not mandatory spending. It's not Social Security. It's not Medicare, Medicaid. It's not stuff that's going to really move the needle when it comes to the actual national national debt. Yeah. But it can affect the deficit, and that's something that you can show to people. Look, the deficit's gone from $2 trillion down to $1 trillion, and that's one of the things that Musk has been saying from the on his when he goes he's like, if we can cut this in half and then grow the government, we can actually get rid of all the inflation. So if in 1 year there will be no price increases. It's like he was talking about. He's like, imagine going to the grocery store and all the prices are the same next year. If we just cut $1 trillion from the deficit, and we don't deficit spend by $2 trillion, we only deficit spend by $1 trillion, and we increase the economic, we slash regulations, which is in turn going to increase economic activity, which would increase the GDP.
3 to 5%. I think
we can get rid of the other $1 trillion in our deficit, and you have no deficit for a year. Actually balancing the budget. So it's multifaceted.
It's a delayed effect. I'm just being in New York and being in Gen Z and on TikTok and stuff. I'm always trying to be aware of the majority of us and the people that we're always surrounded by. We're dialed into politics. We care about it. It matters to us. So we know and we actually care about these things. But I'm always just thinking about, the average American who doesn't have time to ever watch Tim's show or, live stream on Rumble and after hours, members only. And they didn't pay me to say that. But, the majority of people don't know that much. And so I'm thinking of the people that I want to secure for 2026, because we know that is the most important thing. Now, Trump set on that because if he doesn't get 2026 or if he loses control of the House and the Senate, he's done, essentially, in terms of being able to pass things. But the majority of people who are not dialed in, I was saying that it's interesting that he is so strongly working towards something so important, but that won't have a direct feel for the people that are not dialed into politics. Like, their prices aren't going to go down. It's not solving anything directly. Their taxes aren't going down. So I'm just conscious of that. It might in 2 years from now or something.
I wouldn't even say 2 years. Yeah. Like I said, it's like it does take some time. So maybe next year you'd see the results from some of these things. But again, if you can get rid of the deficit, then you'll get, and if Musk is right, you get rid of the deficit, you can get rid of the inflation. And that leads directly to, you're not going to see prices go down, but it pauses the increase of prices. Yeah. And it allows wages some time to catch up, because that's the way that it works. Like, inflation happens, everyone suffers, and then over time, wages catch up.
I guess he has also the opportunity. I agree with you, and he has the opportunity now because his approval rating is so high. I think he might know he'll have to bring more direct, favorable things if it ever dips down.
One of the challenges Trump has is that the average person doesn't understand deep politics, as we're discussing. When he was on the Joe Rogan show, he explicitly stated that we either bring the prices down, which is very difficult, or he mentioned being under leveraged, which I'll simplify as, if the buying power of the dollar increases, then the cost of goods may not go down, but your ability to buy those goods goes up. And that's what really matters. So making prices go down is difficult. You do that by generating energy and making energy more abundant. When energy costs are cheaper, competition will drive prices down. It's really simple. I'm going to arm you guys with this information. I know most of you already know it, but for some of you who don't, the Democrats keep running on this. You can't drop prices. You can't make prices go down. If fuel costs go down, if they are able to produce natural gas, fuel, whatever, frack for a cheaper price, because labor is cheaper, whatever. If they can deregulate it, what's going to happen is you're going to have market competition. These energy companies are going to say, buy from me. We'll sell it, $80 a barrel. I'll sell it $75 a barrel. Price goes down. Then the shipments are cheaper. When it's cheaper to ship and their margins are healthy, you get two egg producers and one says, hey, buy my eggs for $10. The other guy says, I can reduce my costs because our transportation has gone down. Buy mine for $9. The competition will reduce the prices. That's what we're hoping for. Unless, of course, there's price fixing, which is a crime. Now, Democrats keep lying, saying it's not going to happen. It's not possible. And my favorite thing is it's been 3 weeks and they're going, hey, Trump, how come you haven't lowered all the prices yet? And it's like, well, he's currently gutting waste, fraud, and abuse. And it's been 3 weeks. We're going to have to work on it. Come on, it's not going to be overnight. I will say this of Trump. He did say, as soon as I'm elected, we're going to see the prices go down. But anybody who actually knows Trump and has known Trump for a decade knows that you got to take him seriously, but not literally. When Trump said, day one, and since I'm elected, the war is over, I was like, maybe, but eventually we're like, well, he's going to have some work cut out for him because of the way Democrats have set this up. When he says day one, you're going to see the prices drop. We're like, yeah, we get it, Trump. He's a big talker, but we think he'll probably work on it and he'll do a good job of it.
Now they're blaming him for the eggs. Chuck Schumer's like, Mr. Trump, why are the eggs so expensive? What did you do? And we're like, that was your guy who killed all the birds. Like, hello? Yeah. But yeah.
That was I do believe the plan at the end of the Biden administration was to nuke as much as possible so they could blame Trump for it.
Oh, for sure.
Go back and watch our episodes of Timcast style where we literally said this. They were sabotaging things so that as soon as Trump got in, they'd say, aha, Trump did it.
Yeah, and anyone that thinks that is somehow that they would never do that. They would never harm the country like that. Just go back and look at the debates between Trump and Biden when Biden said we should surge the border. There should be a surge at the border. He literally told people to come to the country illegally and just come to the border. That is a massive problem for the country. So the Biden administration and Democrats more broadly have zero care about the American people. They don't care about the American people. That's why they wanted it. That's why they wanted illegal immigrants to come into the United States, and we're using the Health and Human Services Department and the Refugee Resettlement Program to ferry those illegal immigrants about throughout the country, particularly to red states, to try to turn them purple or turn purple states more, closer to blue, because they were looking to get themselves a consistent and permanent position of power in the government, so that way there was no Republican Party that could actually challenge them. I mean, it's nefarious. And it's disgusting. And now that we see now that we see DOGE and the things that DOGE has uncovered, it becomes more clear that was not just it wasn't just by happenstance that was happening. That was an actual plan.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.